Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. My name is Raelan and this is my first ever YouTube video. Oh, a little bit terrifying, but also kind of exciting. So today I'm going to be talking about chronic fatigue syndrome and exercise. Now, the reason this is important is because I had chronic fatigue syndrome for about 10 years, and when I did finally get past it, exercise was a big part of my recovery. It wasn't the only thing, but it was a vital piece, and I do strongly believe that without exercise, I would never have recovered. I'll admit, when I first thought of doing a video about exercise and chronic fatigue syndrome, I had visions in my head of people out there with chronic fatigue syndrome mustering up what little energy they had and suiting up in full sniper gear and coming to hunt me down. Because I know this can be a sensitive and controversial and polarizing topic, and with good reason, but I did finally find a way to make it work for me, and I'm really excited to share all of that with you today. To start, just let me say I know that there are different terms that people use to refer to this illness. I refer to it as chronic fatigue syndrome or CFS. I know that some people refer to it as ME or myalgic encephalomyelitis. I'm not actually entirely sure how to say it, to be honest, which is probably why I use CFS. So for this video, I'm going to be referring to it as that. And I also want to let you know that I am not a doctor or a certified health professional of any kind. I'm not a fitness trainer. I'm just someone who had CFS and figured out a way to recover from it. So I want to share my experience, but none of this should be construed as medical advice, and you should absolutely talk to your doctor and do your own research before determining if anything that I talk about might be right for you. Okay, let's get started. So my learning curve when it came to CFS and exercise was pretty steep. I had to figure out how to do enough exercise that I was helping my body recover, but not push too far and get to the point where I was causing my body damage, which turned out to be an incredibly fine line to determine, and the penalties for misjudging that could be huge. So today I'm going to share with you the things that I learned over a period of about 18 months. That's how long it took me from when I first started with my exercise program until I got to a point where I was feeling really super strong and could just really push through any workout I wanted at the gym, no problem. So during that time, I learned things to speed up recovery, minimize downtime after exercise, and eventually eliminate those nasty health crashes that can so often be a part of exercise with chronic fatigue syndrome. Also, this is not going to be one of those workout videos where I talk about how to get big and bulky at the gym. Clearly, I'm not an expert on that. Not yet anyways. There's still time. But what I'm going to be talking about today is exercise specifically to be used to recover from CFS. All right, so today's video is going to have three parts. The first part is going to be talking about the things that you need to change before you even get started with your exercise program. Part two is going to be the things you need to learn to help your body recover. And then part three is going to be the things to actually do while carrying out your exercise program. All right, so let's dive right in. Part one, change these things before you even think about getting started. Change number one is going to be that you need to set up your life for success. Because exercise with chronic fatigue syndrome is going to probably take up a lot of space in your life. Not the actual exercise itself, but the recovery and everything else that comes along with it. So if you're trying to just add exercise in on top of everything else that you've already got going on, it's probably not going to go very well. It's that you're going to need to find ways to minimize your obligations and the responsibilities that you have. And I know this might sound tough to accomplish, but I really think you're going to need to get creative and figure out ways to simplify your life so you can just focus almost completely on this exercise program. So whether that's if you're working, cutting back hours at work, or being at peace with using up all your sick days or vacation time. For me, it meant actually quitting my job entirely for a while. It's going to depend where you are on your healing journey, how much you have to scale back. Enlist the help of family members and friends, get them to help out with childcare, household duties such as cleaning and cooking and grocery shopping. If you can manage it, paying for some people to help out with some of these things would be really good. Because you're going to need time to experiment and test your body's limits and see what works for you. And if you wake up one morning the day after exercise, that's when it always hit me the hardest, and you can't get out of bed till noon or later, that needs to be okay. So whatever you can do, minimize your responsibilities and increase the support you have in your life. The second thing you're going to need to change is to change your mindset. Now, what that's going to look like is first, start changing the way you think about exercise and focus on what you can do. Because in the beginning, again, depending on where you are in your healing journey, it might be very small. It might only be 1 minute of exercise per day or 1 minute every second day. And it might start to feel a little bit more like it's not getting you anywhere, but you need to focus on those things that you are doing, and that maybe last week you weren't doing anything at all. So the fact that you're doing this now is huge. And maybe next week you'll be able to do 1 minute every single day, or maybe even 2 minutes every single day. So if you keep your focus on that trajectory of where you're going, that will keep you motivated and positive and on track with your plan. Another part of switching your mindset is going to be surrendering to your limitations, because continually pushing past what you are physically capable of doing will likely keep you sick forever. Trust me, I've tried. Denial is not your friend here. This is not a case of mind over matter. You don't just need to push harder. You really need to assess and accept physically where you're at and stay right there. Start so incredibly small. However small you're thinking in your head that you have to start, dial that back by 100 and start there. So learn to value consistency over intensity, and learn from your mistakes quickly and adjust your program. And another piece of changing your mindset before you get started is to remember that vanity cannot at all be your motivator here. I know that some of us, when we think about starting to exercise, we start thinking about, the different ways our body's gonna look and all the external stuff that's gonna happen. I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna fit into that shirt that hasn't fit for like 2 years. I'm gonna impress people at the gym with my amazing workouts and get some nice 6-pack abs, but this is not what this is about. And in the beginning, the external visible changes will likely be very small, because with only 1 minute of exercise per day or every second day, you're not making dramatic changes in how you look, but dramatic things will be happening on the inside. So that's what you need to remember. And rest assured, if you stick with this in the long term, the best body you've ever had in your life will be waiting for you at the finish line. So that's part one, the things you need to change before you even get started. Set your life up for success by increasing your support and minimizing obligations and responsibilities, and switch your mindset by focusing on what you can do, surrendering to your limitations, and remembering that vanity cannot be your motivator. Part two, things you need to learn that will help your body recover while you're exercising with CFS. Initially, your body might feel like it's raging against all forms of exercise. Exercise, something that should feel healthy and natural for most people, when you have CFS, can feel toxic. And I definitely learned during my journey with exercise and CFS that there were things that I could do to support my body to dramatically change the way my body reacted to exercise. So these 4 things are what I found were to be complete game changers in that department. The first part of that is stretching. When I had CFS, something was happening in my body where I felt incredibly tight and sore almost all of the time. And I quickly learned that the more that I stretched, the better that I felt. So I stretched before my workouts, after my workouts, and then every single night before I went to bed. And if I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night, I might get up and stretch some more. And if this is too much for you to get started, if you can't manage some exercise and the stretching, then in the beginning, just stretch. The second thing is pain management. My experience with this is that when I started exercising, my body was in all sorts of pain. So I discovered pretty quickly that I needed to start doing things to decrease all of this. And for me, the biggest thing that helped with pain management was actually fairly simple and cheap. It was hot water. I started taking so many hot baths that I was sure that when this was all done, I was never going to want to take another hot bath again. Before I would get into the bathtub, my body would be achy and sore and restless and just generally in a bad place. And after soaking in a hot tub for a while, by the time I got out, I felt so much better, so much less pain and relaxed. I was able to sleep better and get the recovery that I needed. And just like with the stretching, if I woke up in the middle of the night in pain once again, then I would get up and take another hot bath. It's a lot of hot baths, it's a lot of stretching. It's not awesome. I didn't love it, but you know what I loved less? 10 freaking years with chronic fatigue syndrome. So the baths and the stretching seem like a small price to pay to get my life back. The next thing in helping your body recover is to sleep. Get good quality sleep every single night as much as possible. Sleep at any cost. This needs to be your mantra. So whether it's someone next to you who's snoring or moving around and it's keeping you up at night, or perhaps your room is too brightly lit, or it's too loud, or your bed is uncomfortable, whatever it is, you're going to have to take some measures to ensure that you are getting the sleep that you need, whether that means sleeping in a separate bedroom from your partner. I know people don't love this idea. I had to do it for a while. I didn't love it, but I just remembered that the goal was to get me better, and getting me better in the end was going to be the best possible thing for my relationship. So you might need to sleep with an eye mask, earplugs, maybe get some blackout blinds installed in your room. If you can afford it, you might have to get a new bed. If you do all of these things and you're still not sleeping, you might have to go see your doctor and see if they think that some sedatives or something might be helpful for you in the short term. Just whatever you do, make sure you're getting in that sleep every single day. And the last thing that dramatically helped my body to recover from exercise, I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this one. It was such a game changer that I think if you're serious about getting well, you need to think seriously about considering it. This was switching to a whole foods plant-based diet. For about the first 6 months of my exercise with CFS, I was eating a mostly meat-based diet, lean meats, vegetables, low carb, no processed food. I thought it was really healthy. I thought I was doing well, and I was seeing some progress. But when I switched to a predominantly whole foods plant-based diet, my progress skyrocketed. It was such a game changer for me. I started recovering more quickly from my workouts. I started sleeping better. I was in less pain. My digestion was better. I looked better. It was incredible what it did for me. If you're looking for more information on all the great ways that a plant-based diet can help people heal, there are some amazing documentaries out there. There's one called The Game Changers. There's one called What the Health. I definitely recommend that you check them out. So to recap, Part 1, we had things to change before you get started. Set your life up for success by increasing support, minimizing obligations and responsibilities, switching your mindset by focusing on what you can do, surrendering to your limitations, and remembering that vanity cannot be your motivator. And then we learned that we must stretch, focus on pain management, get sleep at any cost, and switch to a predominantly plant-based diet. Okay, Part 3. So now that we know how to change our life to get ready for exercise, we've learned the things to do to support our body during that process. This part is about what to actually do when you're doing the actual exercise. So there were 7 things that I found while doing my exercise program that made it be successful. So the first thing was to learn that working out on your own is absolutely the best. In the beginning, trying to work out with personal trainers or in fitness classes or physical therapists probably isn't going to be for you. The unfortunate reality is that most doctors aren't even properly trained in CFS treatment, never mind fitness trainers and whatnot. So the chances of any of them knowing what is right for your body is pretty slim. In fact, even another person with CFS isn't going to know what the right amount of exercise for you is. The reality is that in as little as 1 minute, you can do too much exercise. Just 1 minute. So with working out with someone else, it's just too easy to get distracted and push a little bit too hard and lay yourself out for the rest of the week. And even if the person you're working with isn't pushing you to work harder, the reality is that most of us, when we have someone physically in front of us, just tend to work harder. We either want to show them how hard we're working or get our money's worth or whatever it is. So in the beginning, it's best to work out on your own. If you're not confident in your ability to exercise effectively and safely by yourself, then perhaps hire a personal trainer for 1 session just to design a program for you, teach you how to do the exercises, and then you go off on your own and you do those by yourself. Okay. Which leads me right into the second thing. So just because you have to do this on your own doesn't mean you have to figure it all out on your own. So in the beginning, even though you're working out by yourself, there are tons of great resources out there on the internet and in various mobile apps to help you get great workouts in. In the beginning, again, depending on where you are in your healing journey, but your workouts might be quite small, so you might not need much. You could look up on the internet some exercises to do. It might just be some simple squats on your living room floor, maybe a couple push-ups off your knees if you can manage it. It's going to be fairly simple. Once your workouts start getting a little bit longer, say 10 or 15 minutes, then it's a good idea to start using some sort of mobile app or online program to help you along. This way you don't waste vital energy having to come up with and design effective workouts every week. I started using a mobile app called Sweat, which I find is excellent. I started using it ages ago and I still use it religiously to this day. When I first started using it, I had to cut the workouts in half or even in thirds. And then even with shortening them, I still had to modify the workouts. So to make them easier, if it called for jumping, I would step instead. If push-ups were off your toes, I would do them off my knees. I would use the smallest weights possible or even no weights at all. But in time, I got to the point where I could do the workouts exactly as they were designed in the app, which was super exciting to see that progress as I went along. Another great thing about mobile apps like Sweat is that the fitness trainers that put their workout programs into the app typically have a strong social media presence. So I found it really exciting and motivating to follow them online, to see all the other people that are doing the program and watch their progress. So it was a great way to feel connected to a trainer and to a supportive community during a time when I actually wasn't physically able to go out into the world and do that in person. And if you aren't confident in your ability to modify these workouts in the beginning, then workouts designed for pregnant women can actually be quite good because they typically are low intensity and don't involve a lot of heavy lifting. The third piece of doing your exercise is that moving your body just once a day isn't going to be enough. And I know you're thinking, but Raelan, I have chronic fatigue syndrome. I can barely even exercise once a day. And now you're saying I have to work out multiple times a day? It's not that you have to work out multiple times a day, but if you only exercise once a day and then the other 23 and 3/4 hours are spent lying down, then the healing process for your body is going to be really slow. So think of your body as a body of water. And considering we are mostly made up of water, it's really not that much of a stretch. So bodies of water, when you think of ones that are moving, they are typically healthy and alive. And if you think of bodies of water that are stagnant, they're usually breeding grounds for disease. So our bodies, not all that different. Things like our lymphatic system rely on us to be moving so that the fluid can be moving and our bodies can do all the wonderful things that it does to be healing. The unfortunate reality is that when you are sedentary, you are typically not healing. So do what you can. This might mean in the beginning that just every time you get up to go to the bathroom, as you're walking to the bathroom, you're swinging your arms around in the air in some gentle circles. If you can manage it on the way back, maybe stop in the hallway, do a couple gentle squats, whatever you can manage safely. If you are completely laid out in bed or on the couch, then perhaps every once in a while you just lift your arms and legs up gently. Maybe gentle bending, gentle stretching. Set a timer on your phone to go off every 30 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever you can manage. And every time that timer goes off, make sure you're moving as much as you safely can. The fourth piece of exercise with CFS is that you need to ditch the cardio. I know we all gravitate towards it when we first start working out. I think it just seems safe. There's not much intimidating about walking or gently pedaling on a recumbent bike at the gym. But for me, I found that cardio never got me anywhere. I never saw any progress from it, and the only thing it ever seemed to do actually was make me feel worse. So in the beginning, ditch it entirely, which leads right into the fifth thing, which is to put your focus completely into strength training. But start really, really small. In the beginning, strength training likely won't involve any weights at all. It's just going to be your own body weight. Things like a couple lunges or a couple squats or a couple push-ups off your knees. And when you can, start using the smallest weights possible. I know that when I was doing it, I felt really silly. And even in my weakened, sick condition, those teeny tiny weights felt like they were actually still too light for me. I could barely even feel that there was anything in my hand, and I felt silly, like how can I possibly be doing anything at all? But every time I tried to up the weight and go even just the slightest bit heavier, my health would crash and it would be a disaster. So eventually I learned to keep it small, and over time, eventually I started feeling a little bit better. So then I started upping it ever so slightly to a little bit bigger weight and a bigger weight until I got to a point where I could manage quite heavy weights with no problem at all. Number six is start doing cardio. I'm not saying that cardio has no place in CFS recovery. I'm just saying that in the beginning, it's not probably going to get you anywhere. So once you're feeling really confident with your strength training, you're seeing yourself do some impressive workouts at the gym, and you're just feeling really quite strong, now it's time to start bringing that cardio in. And you might think because you've gotten quite strong at the gym that the cardio is probably going to be no problem to get started. But if your experience is like mine, that's not going to be the case. It might feel like you're starting all over again. Cardio will be a whole other ballgame for your body, so you need to start small. I started with walking and running. So in the beginning, I did 10 minutes of walking and then 1 minute of running. 10 minutes of walking, 1 minute of running, slow running, more like a slow jog. And then every single week, I shaved 1 minute off of the walking. So I would do 9 minutes walking, 1 minute run, 9 minutes walking, 1 minute run, and then the week after 8 minutes and 7 minutes and so on, until I got to a point where now when I go for a run, 80 to 90% of my run is actual running. And number 7 in putting together your exercise program is to have some flexibility with that plan. Now, few things in life make me happier than having a plan and sticking to it exactly. So every single week I put together this workout plan for myself, so excited, so determined to do it, and I had zero problems getting the motivation to carry through with it. But week after week, my body just couldn't keep up with what I was scheduling for myself. And it wasn't even always that I was scheduling too much. It's just that recovery with CFS is not a linear process. It's quite inconsistent. And you only have to push just a teeny tiny bit too hard, and then you might end up having to take 2 or 3 days off to just rest and recover before you're ready to get back on. So it's important to have a plan, but it's also important to have flexibility with that plan. All right, so to recap, change these 2 things before you get started. Set your life up for success by increasing support and minimizing obligations and responsibilities. Switch your mindset by focusing on what you can do, surrendering to your limitations, and remembering that vanity cannot be your motivator at this stage of the game. And then you need to learn to help your body recover by stretching, working on pain management, sleeping at any cost, and switching to a predominantly plant-based diet. And while actual exercising, you need to work out on your own initially, move your body multiple times per day, use the internet and mobile apps, stop doing cardio, focus on strength training, bring in the cardio later, and be flexible with your plan and with yourself. And just remember, no matter how small your workouts might feel, they are actually giant steps towards getting your health back. It's all exercise, it all counts, and it's all infinitely better than doing nothing. And please be careful, because doing too much can do incredible damage. So consult your doctor, do your own research, and assess what is right for you before you get started. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the thumbs up button below if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this talking about chronic fatigue syndrome recovery. And it'd be super helpful if you could leave some comments below telling me what you liked about this video, topics you'd like to hear more about. And please check below for some links for some resources if you're still looking for more help. I'll be putting up videos like this every Wednesday, so I will see you next week. Oh, you're not going to be singing, you're going to be talking. Hello, oh. Scratch that. Redo. Forget the notes, just speak. Blah. Blah. Rubbish. Once your workouts start getting a little bit longer, quit touching your face. You've got this. You've got this. Kind of scary, mostly exciting, or mostly scary. I'm not sure.